Okay, so you saw basically on the episode that was tonight. The situation was basically it comes down to the wild card fight. The guys that were picked for that fight were, you know, Chuck O'Neil, Javier Torres. Personally, I think those were good picks. You know, I was happy with them. I think the team was happy with them. The only one who wasn't happy with them, I think, was Len Bentley. And I mean, I can understand a little bit why. He did have the best fight. You know, in my opinion, out of all the people in the preliminary bouts, him and Ryan had the best fight, most exciting. Problem is, Len had two things working against him. A, was his attitude, and B, his knee. I mean, his knee was constantly giving out on him. Every other practice, it became a real issue. And then the other thing was Len just had a real, I think, attitude problem. And the weird deal was, I mean, I like Len. I think he's a great guy, but his attitude was just, got pretty bad after that loss. He really held a grudge against Ryan. Really felt that he didn't, that Ryan didn't win that fight, and that should have went to a third round. But hey, the thing is, you lose the fight, accept it, and a real, champion and everything else just says, hey, you know what, I lost, no excuses, and they move on, which is a very hard thing to do, but what needed to be happen. The other thing that basically happened is that Len just kept talking about that wild card decision over and over and over and over again, and then after a while, people just didn't want to hear it anymore. And it's like, Len, you didn't get the pick. It goes now to Chuck. Support Chuck. And I don't think Len really did that. He was just very bitter. Chuck went in there. We used to went in the house. We called him Trash Bag Charlie because we said he resembled basically a homeless person that looked like you picked him up off the street. And then all of a sudden, he shaves off the beard. He goes back to being Cold Steel. I guess his fight name in Boston, he goes by Cold Steel, and that's that's a real Chuck. So when he fought Javier, he definitely stepped up to the plate. He was striking good, showed great jiu-jitsu, finished him off with a good choke, and he said, hey, that's the real Cold Steel. And Chuck's a gamer. He's a very talented fighter. He's got good stand-up, good jits, and he definitely showed the real Cold Steel in there, and I was happy for him because Javier made it very adamant that he wanted that wild card spot, which he got, and then he also wanted to rematch me. And personally, I didn't want to rematch him. I only wanted to fight people once in the house, and I didn't really feel there's a reason to do the rematch. So I was glad that Chuck won, evened it out, made it 4-4, which is a good thing. The other situation you saw was the whole deal with me and Shamar Bailey. I was kind of apologetic to him because I can understand that, we practiced before Team Dos Santos. They kind of went in the afternoon. We went in the morning. So they were sleeping in when we get in the vans and we go out. And then all of a sudden, I wake up in the morning and I basically do this woo thing and drove him nuts, I think. I was doing it at Norden from Germany. We hung out with a lot. He started doing it. And basically what happened was, I guess they just had enough of it. And Shamar runs in the kitchen, gets up all in my face. I think he was very adamant that he wanted to fight me. He wanted that match. He wants that match to happen. So he figured if he called me out on it, it would happen. So, he comes in the kitchen and he's just mean mugging me and everything else. And, I try to be as professional as I could about it. I can understand where the guy's coming from, but at the same time, it's like, hey, I said I'm sorry, I'm not doing it anymore, but he just wouldn't drop it. He was just very adamant about being, in my face about it. And that was just kind of that. The funny thing was, though, is that was going on for like 3 weeks, and I was doing it all the time, and it took him until then to confront me about it. It's like, dude, all you had to really say is like, when I'm walking by, you say, hey, man, stop making so much noise in the morning. I would have done it. Evidently, it hit a boiling point, and yeah, they got pretty heated about it. So me and Shamar fighting, I kind of knew it was going to happen. So, you'll have to wait till next week to see exactly what happens. But with the matchups where we got me and Shamar, you got Zach rematching Chuck, and then you've got Clay and Ramsey, and then you've got Ryan and Tony. They're all great matchups in my opinion. They all they're going to make good fights, I think. So stay tuned, and I would like to thank, my gym, the arena, manager Jeff Clark, striking coach Charles Martinez, strength and conditioning coach Tom Hill, head coach Pat Spade, and then the crew, at TVideoTours. Okay, thanks a lot, guys.